Beyonce, oh my gosh, her and Jay Z just made a huge purchase. They just bought a home for $200 million in cash. In cash, y'all. This is the cash.
Y'all, let's talk about something that's got a lot of people scratching their heads. What would make one of the richest couples in the world, Jay Z and Beyoncé, take out a $110 million mortgage on a house they already own? These two are worth nearly $3 billion together. We're talking about the same couple who just dropped $200 million in straight cash on a Malibu mansion, not a loan, not a payment plan, but cash.
His songs were always very street and the hood, always appreciated, and he could cross over and still people all over the world could appreciate.
So why are they suddenly stacking debt on a property they bought years ago? Let's rewind for a second. Back in 2017, Jay and Bey bought the Bel Air mansion for $88 million. At the time, it was already a massive purchase. But instead of paying for the whole thing outright, they took out a mortgage borrowing over $52 million from Goldman Sachs with a 30-year deal. Now, most billionaires don't usually finance homes like that.
There were rumors early on that earlier this year that Beyonce and Jay Z were having marital problems because they're separating assets. My sources told me, Beyonce and Jay Z are like peanut butter and jelly. They ain't never separating. She ain't never leaving that man. He ain't never leaving her. However, they were separating assets because Beyonce was making sure that her assets were completely separate from any business dealings that Diddy did with Jay Z.
But hey, maybe it was just a smart money move, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. Earlier this year, they went back and refinanced that same house again, this time borrowing another $57 million. That brings their total debt on this single home to a whopping $110 million. The newest loan comes with a 5% interest rate and a 30-year term, with payments locked in for the first 10 years.
$15 million business line, I guess a loan for Roc Nation to help expand it and keep it going. It's a lot of money. And you would think, why won't he use his own money? Well, it's because he got to pay taxes on his own money, or he doesn't have the money. Because if he had the money, he wouldn't be asking for it. And if he really needed the money, he would cash in some of his assets. But he's not willing to do that, because then you got to pay a hefty tax on those assets.
So let's break this down. Just from this second loan alone, they're paying around $310,000 a month. Add that to the payments from the original loan, about $226,000 a month, and you're looking at over $500,000 in monthly mortgage payments. That's not even including the property taxes, which are about $100,000 per month.
She and Beyonce bought a $200 million house in California.
Yeah.
In Malibu.
They're saying they paid all cash for it, too.
Altogether, Jay and Bey are paying close to $637,000 a month just to keep that home. And remember, this isn't including staff, security, maintenance, or anything else. Now, yes, they're billionaires. This isn't a regular household struggling to pay rent. But it still raises a big question. Why take out so much debt on a house you already own, especially when you just paid $200 million in cash for another mansion? Some people say it's a classic strategy rich folks use. Instead of selling assets and triggering big tax bills, they borrow against what they own to keep cash in hand. This lets them stay liquid, meaning they can use that money without actually selling anything. Others believe they might have needed cash fast for investments, legal matters, or business reasons, and borrowing at 5% interest might be cheaper than selling stock or shares. But even with those explanations, something feels off. If they're so wealthy, why are they refinancing again and again? And why are banks reportedly turning them down for other loans? That's right. Around the same time, rumors started spreading that Jay Z was denied a $115 million loan. And not just that, he was also allegedly turned down for a $55 million line of credit. That's unusual for someone with his kind of money. Big banks don't say no to billionaires unless they've seen something that makes them nervous behind the scenes. Now let's bring Beyonce back into the picture, because fans started noticing something unusual with her too. She's been working non-stop lately. Back-to-back shows, long tours, 4-night stops in one city, launching a hair care brand, a fragrance, an alcohol line, and new fashion drops all at once. Fans are starting to whisper, why is Beyonce working like she's trying to pay off debt? To a lot of people, this doesn't look like someone just having fun with new business ideas. This looks like someone trying to generate a lot of money fast. And that has people wondering if things are tighter than they look behind the scenes. In fact, insiders say Beyonce is the biggest source of income for Roc Nation right now. So when things get rough financially, it's Beyonce out there keeping the business alive. Then there's Desiree Perez, an executive at Roc Nation, who openly admitted in a past interview that they were once $40 million in debt. She said it was a serious situation and she was desperate to save the company. And Jay Z himself admitted he lost $20 million during the Busby lawsuit. That's not small change. Between lawyer fees, court costs, PR, and cleanup, that's a major hit. Now layer that on top of possible legal problems through his association with Diddy. Even if Jay Z isn't directly involved, just being tied to someone with legal issues can cause damage. Lawsuits cost more than money they drag out for years, hurt reputations, and can cause businesses to back away. And if any of these lawsuits start connecting him financially or legally, the costs will only get higher. So now people are wondering, could this be why they're borrowing against their house? Is the mortgage money being used to fund lawsuits, business problems, or to quietly protect their assets before something bigger drops? Some fans think this is all part of a long-term strategy. Using your home as collateral means you can pull out a lot of cash without selling your other properties, investments, or businesses. It keeps your other assets off the books, at least temporarily. But there's a catch: if something goes wrong and you can't keep up with payments or get hit with a legal freeze, you could lose that home. That's a big risk, even for billionaires. So now, there are rumors that Jay and Bey are moving quickly behind the scenes, shuffling money, protecting what they can, and possibly preparing for bigger legal trouble. If lawsuits start popping up more often, or if things get worse with the Diddy connection, they may need that cash to stay ahead of the storm. In the end, it's all speculation. Maybe they're just being financially smart. Maybe it's all just strategy. But when billionaires start borrowing big, banks start saying no, and one of the most powerful entertainers in the world starts working like she's got bills to pay, it makes people wonder. Because billionaires usually don't move like this unless something is brewing beneath the surface. So now the question is, what's really going on behind those billion-dollar gates? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is this just smart money management, or is there something deeper happening behind the scenes? The conversation's just getting started. One person online said, "This feels like bankruptcy prevention mode. Something just doesn't add up." And someone else commented, "I love Beyonce, but this hustle is starting to feel desperate. She didn't even tour this hard when she was in her prime." And honestly, that's the real debate right now. Are Jay Z and Beyonce actually in financial trouble? Or are they just making smart money moves that look suspicious to the public? Let's be clear, being broke for billionaires doesn't mean what it means for most of us. They're not skipping meals or living paycheck to paycheck. But it could mean their money isn't as accessible as it seems. Maybe their cash flow is low, or maybe they don't want to sell off major assets right now. So instead, they refinance their homes or borrow against properties to get large chunks of money without touching their investments. Some people say this is just smart financial planning. Borrowing instead of selling can come with tax advantages. It also helps them keep ownership of their investments while still getting the money they need. But others aren't so sure. To them, it feels more like a panic response, like they're trying to move fast because something is closing in. And when you take everything into account, the denied loans, past debt issues, ongoing lawsuits, and the fact that Beyonce is working harder than ever, it definitely raises eyebrows. It doesn't scream broke, but it does suggest that they might be dealing with financial pressure. Maybe they're trying to stay ahead of something. Or maybe they're preparing for legal troubles that could get worse. When all this news came out, the mortgage numbers, the denied credit lines, the non-stop touring, social media lit up. And fans had a lot to say. One comment that kept going viral said, "Not Jay Z having Beyonce on tour like she's paying rent. It's meant as a joke, but it also hits a little too close to reality. People are looking at Beyonce's packed schedule and wondering if she's doing more than just performing. Maybe she's helping to hold everything together. Another fan said, "This feels like a financial fire drill in slow motion." And that's actually a perfect way to describe it. All the back-to-back decisions, the home refinancing, the heavy tour dates, the denied loans, the expensive purchases, it feels like they're moving fast, maybe too fast, to keep something from falling apart. Now, not everyone is negative. Some fans are defending them. They say this is exactly how rich people keep their wealth, by borrowing smart, managing taxes, and keeping their assets untouched. And they're not wrong. Wealthy people often use debt as a tool. But even then, most billionaires don't face loan denials or tour non-stop like this. That's why people are raising questions. The truth is, we don't know exactly what's happening behind closed doors. But here's what we can see: Jay Z and Beyonce are making some very calculated choices. And while they might not be in trouble, it does look like they're trying to stay ahead of something that could be serious. Maybe it's legal issues, maybe it's financial stress, or maybe it's both. What we're watching might not be a collapse, it could just be a couple making smart but urgent decisions to protect their empire. But the timing, the pace, the pressure, it all feels like more than just normal business. So what do you think? Does all this look like good money management to you, or are there signs of a deeper problem? Are they being smart, or are they scrambling? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because something tells me this story is far from over. This rabbit hole? It's only getting deeper. If you liked this breakdown, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a story. Celeb Nova will have it all covered for you. See y'all in the next video. This is Celeb Nova, where the drama ends and the truth begins.